Hey everybody, this is Craig Cottle from Nature Reliance School. As I told you recently, we're going to start a new series that every time I teach a class, I'm going to go through the kit items that I utilized and show you the things that we got that we like, some of the things that we didn't like, because we're always trying out new gear, trying out new things, and some of these products are sold at Dan's Depot, so check them out. I'll have links for them in my blog, and some of the stuff is things that we're researching to see if Dan's Depot wants to carry them. So glad you're with us. The gear that I used in this particular video was utilized during a survival basics class that we taught at Life Adventure Center in Versailles, Kentucky. We had people come from, I don't know, several hundred miles away, Ohio, Western Kentucky, Tennessee, all over, came in for the class. And so that's basically the setup. So basically in our survival basics class, it's what I like to describe as a camping trip and studying survival, not surviving. And so there's a lot of creature comforts that I take along with me to make those a little bit more comfortable. I spend over 100 nights a year now teaching classes outside, spending the night outside, if not, I don't know, maybe closer to 150. But so sometimes I go a little bit more comfortable than others, and this is one of those strips. So I've set this up at a different location. This is not the location where I had the setup for the class. We were in a deciduous forest, and I've set it up here so we can get good looks at it. I used a Dan's Depot tarp with what I refer to as a 3-point setup, 1, 2, 3 points on the ground, and then tied up to a tree. As you can tell, this is huge. We use this all the time in survival classes and teach people how to build shelters. There's a tremendous area here that I can put all number of gear pieces in, and I'm really comfortable and have all kinds of room. The Dan's Depot tarp worked great as usual. I've used it a billion times, it seems like, but basically I sleep with my head in and my feet hanging out. I can get completely down in there and not have any sort of weather that's going to get on me unless it's blowing in this way, but I always set it up so it doesn't catch the prevailing winds this way. The only thing that was interesting to note is I gathered a lot of moisture along this ridge line basically right here, and that's common. It happens all the time, but basically I always set it up so this stays really tight in the very back, and so any moisture that gathers all the way down at the very end and doesn't fall on me. So as I said, this was one of those times where I was a little bit more comfortable than most. I had a big Agnes sleeping pad that I utilized. These are ones that you blow up and you fill with air. I'm telling you what, if you're into pads, these don't weigh much, they don't take up much space, and I have found them to be very comfortable. I have a fairly roughed up back after doing Aikido and Judo for over 20 years. So I like to, when I can, make sure that I'm as comfortable as I can. So when I'm going heavy, what I mean heavy is I'm basically pulling stuff out of my Jeep and put it on the ground, I'll carry this pad. Otherwise, I sleep right on the ground. Outside of that, I had the military bivvy that I talked about in the tactical survival review. If you haven't seen that, watch that too. But this is basically a Gore-Tex outside liner that you basically get down into. It zips up, and if you want to, you can Velcro this all the way up over your head. I didn't do that. I left it open. Matter of fact, I had this zipped about a third of the way open. Sleeping bag I utilized this weekend was actually it was a 20-degree bag, and I got this when Dan's Depot first started, and I don't know that they carry this brand, but the Eurekas they carry now are even better than this one. I don't have one of those yet, but I've been using this one because that's what I have. Totally comfortable in this bag, no problems at all, very comfortable. I had a Poncho Liner that I always take with me on these sorts of trips. What I use these Poncho Liners for, if it's really cold, I'll put it down in the sleeping bag with me to help insulate me even more. It adds, a few more degrees to keeping me warm. But oftentimes what I'll do is if my face is getting incredibly cold, I'll just lay this over my head because I can breathe through this thing, and it keeps my upper chest and head warm, and that's pretty comfortable in cold weather. This trip wasn't really cold. It got down to 35, close to 35 both nights. I think one night it was right at freezing because we had some pretty decent frost on Sunday morning. I have a Teton backpacker's pillow. This is like super cheating and super comfortable. Again, I wouldn't normally carry this unless I was just pulling stuff out of the Jeep. What I normally do is I have my rain cover, my Eberly stock rain cover, that I'll usually take any extra clothes that I have on, whether the clean ones that I might be putting on or the dirty ones or anything else I might have in my bag, and I'll wrap it up in the rain cover and I'll use this as a pillow. So, but I had that when I didn't have to use it. It was perfect weather the whole weekend. I carried my Eberly stock Warhammer, and actually, I think I told you this in another video, but I had the little brother with me, and all I did with this was have my clothes in it. So and when I say clothes, basically what I mean is I take a pair of socks each day and an extra pair of underwear for each day, and then everything else is I wear it the whole weekend. So I had the same pants, the same shirt, all that good stuff, because I don't like to carry a lot of clothes. But as I was telling the people in class, I like little victories, and little victories for me are putting on a clean pair of underwear, putting on a clean pair of socks if I got them, brushing my teeth, little things like that to make you feel a little bit more comfortable while you're outside. Warhammer did great as usual, no problems there. So pretty tickled with that. One thing I did bring this time that I just got the week before I left that I love, I'm pretty excited to show you about this thing. I just ordered myself an Eberly stock dry bag. So basically this will keep anything dry, and it can be submerged. It's like any other sea line bag or something of that nature where you roll it up, and it's basically airtight, watertight. The cool thing about this particular bag is that this has zippers on it, and it zips right into the Warhammer or the Sky Crane, either one, or any of the other packs that Eberly stock sells. So basically what I had was I ended up just carrying this because I had the little brother zipped in, but I didn't really need the little brother. I didn't use half that pack, so I probably could have had just the pack without the little brother and had this zipped in. If you watch my Hennessy hammock review, and the reason I wasn't sleeping in my Hennessy hammock because my son was sleeping in his, and my daughter's boyfriend went with us this time, which I was pretty pleased with, and he slept in the Hennessy hammock, and I'm about half afraid I'm not going to get it back. I think he really liked it, so but that's why I didn't have my hammock this time. But usually if you watch that video, usually what I'll do is I'll have a dry bag anyway with me, before, even one that's not the Eberly stock that I had before, but I'm going to use this now. And what I'll do at night is I'll keep my clothes in the dry bag hanging from the hammock so that when it rains, my clothes won't get wet, and when I get out, my clothes are just hanging up. I actually put my boots in there too. I have woken up a couple of times here in Kentucky, had my boots laying on the ground, and found a copperhead in my boots. And so I like to get my boots up off the ground. When you take them off, they're warm. And so if there's snakes in the area and they find them, they'll find that warm spot and get in there. And so I usually hang my boots up when I get in my hammock. So this worked out really well for that. Great investment. Matter of fact, it's not much of an investment. It's not very expensive, but I think you'd love these things. The ever-present pee bottle that I utilize so I don't have to get completely out of bed, take a pee in the middle of the night, and I stay warm and all that good stuff. So that's why it's got the yellow tape on it. No mistaking, so we never drink from that bottle. So check out 2 axes. This is the one I utilized this weekend. It's new to me. I've had it for about 6 months now. A gentleman by the name of Beaver Bill builds hawks and throwing hawks and hammer poles and knives and all kinds of fantastic stuff out of Ohio. I traded some leather goods with him and got this one. My son Zane carries a hammer pole hawk. I've got a bag axe for my dad. Love Beaver Bill stuff. Up until this point, I've always carried my Gerber axe, and I still will. My Gerber axe you can get from Dan's Depot. Super simple. A lot of purists don't like the fact that it has a plastic handle and that sort of thing, and it's Velcro and all that stuff. Well, bite me, because this thing This thing has been fantastic. The only problem I've had with it is what you just saw, is that this is one of the older ones where the saw blade on this one doesn't stay in the handle very well. So I usually have it taped in. But other than that, this axe has been a fantastic axe. I have used the crap out of this axe. I mean, I have used it for literally 15 years. And so anybody that knocks these things, they evidently don't use them right, because I use mine all the time, cut all kinds of stuff, and it's been great. But I do like, because I've done reenacting for many, many years. Started out when I was a kid doing that stuff. And this is a period correct little bag axe, little small axe. You can see it's got a hammer pole on it, sharp as a razor, and love that too. So again, as I told you, this is one of those where I'm a little bit more comfortable than usual. So I had my MSR stove. This is the International. The International is one that can carry or utilize any type of gas basically in it. So the MSR stove with fuel canister, fantastic setup. It works well, it works every time. And I ate Mountain House meals, so I didn't have any, didn't have to worry about bowls and cups and stuff of that nature. Basically just put the food in the Mountain House meal, ate it, had spaghetti and meat sauce one night, and chicken and noodles another night. Both of those are really good. The only thing that I forgot to put in the Jeep when I brought it out here to make this video was my jacket. I had, as far as my clothes, I wore my tactical research boots that I reviewed in the last video. I had a pair of 511 pants on, and I had a polo shirt, a Nature Reliance School polo shirt, but I wore a jacket all weekend long. It's a Rothko, I think it's called the Spec Ops jacket. I'll make sure I have a link to it in my blog piece. Fantastic jacket. It's got pockets on the sleeves, kept me warm. It was easy to ventilate. It's got pit zips and all that good stuff. I love that jacket. So I'll make sure that you get a link to that in my blog. So that's it. Again, Wilderness Survival Basics with Nature Reliance School. This is what I carried and basically utilized and slept as my house and my office for the weekend while I was out. Worked out really, really well, and I was very pleased with everything. There wasn't anything that I would disregard or not utilize again. Every bit of it is stuff that I'd utilize again. So check it out. If there's anything here that we're not carrying on Dan's Depot, it's now in the pipeline to probably get. And so keep checking back with us, and we hope you come on, join in. Let's learn together.